Hello and good morning, everyone. I'm here to tell you about Eurogames. Eurogames sort of came to the forefront of the gaming world. They're sort of around the idea where conflict can happen without actual conflict. It's more like sort of nudging and pushing as you get to the end of a finish line in a race. Not actually 100% pushing them out of your competitor onto the ground. That's what Eurogames have come a little bit about. You're both trying to get points, but there's less and less of that. And I feel very annoyed that I grew up without these sort of Eurogames. I played the dreaded M game. I played Scrabble, Mousetrap, I love that one. Clue, Squatter, you know that one? But the thing is, we really need a way to introduce people to these games. And I'm going to run through several introduction games that should hook you. And I can't believe I'm saying this, but let's start with Catan. Catan, or Settlers of Catan if you've got the old box like me, is by Klaus Teuber for 3 to 4 players for about an hour, probably more, and it goes a bit like this. We are settling the sort of a new land called Catan, and we just need to expand it and make it great for yourselves. And how you do that is you're just trying to get 10 points. That's really all I can say about it. It's very base, and that's why it's actually kind of good. It's very easy to pick up rather than feed your whole story about the war or something. Don't mention the war. The game comes with a set of colourful pieces for each player. There is 2 dice, a little figurine. We call this no, I'm not allowed to say that. You have a bunch of development cards and a bunch of different resources, such as wheat, sheep, and wood. Gotta get that good wood. Yeah. And oh yeah, then you got these sort of connector bits that are going to make up your border of all these different colourful terrains, and that's where you're going to get the resources. And what else? A bunch of markers that you're going to put on this. It's in the essence that's what you're going to get in this box. So this is what the game looks a little like. I've just set it up for 1 player, but let's go through a few things. Your turn will consist of rolling these 2 dice, and people who have properties on the corners of the sum of the numbers here, say 10, will get that resource. I'll get wheat for that place. So firstly, these smaller ones, these are settlements, and they will only get you 1 card. These ones are great, they're cities, and they get you twice as many cards. So yay, I got 2 wheat. If someone was here, they'll get wood. And that's the great thing about Eurogames, is they let you do or get something outside of your turn. And if someone else was here, they can get wood while I'm rolling the numbers. That's great. Now, after you've rolled your dice, you can then spend time building stuff. Or what can you build? You got a nice list right here on your sort of player aid. It tells you can build roads, which allow you to connect your settlements and cities up, and it also, you will always need to require exactly 2 spaces between buildings to build the next one. It's just a small rule, and it can really make the game mean in blocking off other people. So I paid my cost, back to the bank, I put down a road, and that's nice. That's one thing. Your settlements cost you 4 different resources. City costs you 5 development cards. Development cards are useful little things. I've got a nice handful for example. But for example, what you can get from these is road building. That's a great bonus card. It allows me to build 2 roads for free, and you can just drop that anytime in your turn. A knight. Oh, I'll explain that in a moment, but those are useful to move this pesky guy. And then there are just simple victory points. Oh, every building you build is a victory point. Having long roads gets you 2 victory points. Having 3 knights or more will get you the largest army, give you 2 more victory points. And that's in essence the game. It's just you got to get victory points and beat your opponents to other objectives and covering this map by getting more resources. And I'm afraid to talk on right now because this game treads dreadfully near the problem with M. The main problem with M is that once you're losing, it's rare for you to win. And I don't mean this the inverse way. When you're winning, it's hard for you to lose. Once you're losing, it's hard for you to win. Like, okay, say you have you are behind on cities and settlements, and therefore the probability of you getting more cards than your opponent over time, it is much like is against you. It's much like having more hotels to get you money. You just fall behind that person who has all the hotels. Yeah, number 2, this little guy is actually called the robber, and it's meant to be a balance mechanic where if you get lucky and you roll the 7, because there was no 7 on this board before, but if you roll that 7, you control the robber. What happens is everyone who has more than 8 cards have to half their hand, and you get to control this robber, put it on an area of your choice. And what that first does is you get to take a card from their hand at random, and then you also block off that number, that area being the place where that gets anyone resources. So you can, if someone's stockpiled around a particular area, then you can completely shut them off that one resource. And the knight actually allows you to control the robber. But the thing is, it's just doesn't work. It's a bit like having like equal taxing. Say I have 30 cards and you have 8 cards. We both have to pay half when the 7 comes up, but you wanted to build something that cost you 5 cards, and now you're down to 4, and you can't do that anymore. But I am down to 15, and I can still do that 3 times over. And number 3 is the development cards, and many of them, there is in this deck so many knights, and they can help to stop the robber from blocking you. You essentially, it's like you rolled a 7, except for without the halving of the hand. You get to move it somewhere else. But the problem is, if the winning player wants to, they can just focus the robber on you, and they will get all the cards because their properties aren't blocked, and they get to take cards from you. It's not a fair mechanic. Oh yeah, and they get the 2 points for having the largest army. This is the thing. If you're winning, you should be snowballing. In fact, the problem is the game is the reverse of that. If you're losing, you should be stalling and never catching up. And that's all I'm willing about to say about Catan. You can play it, but I would only recommend you play it 6 times. Maybe 2 with your friends if they ask. But yeah, despite what it is, I'd recommend it. It's a decent introduction game to Eurogames.